should see it starting to connect.
We're waiting. Ah, excellent connection. Yes, we got it.
It's interesting because lately everything has been stable. I wonder why these other
Hmm.
times haven't been stable. They haven't done anything different.
Not a clue, mate. Apparently we got 4 people. Wow, we actually have 4 people waiting. Okay, one of them's me, but nonetheless, it's not bad. I can also hear myself.
And while we're doing things,
Oh yeah, wait. I know why. That's better. I've got a funny feeling that everyone can hear me.
everyone should be able to hear you.
Hmm.
All right, let's get this to.
I'm gonna do it the easy way. Oi,
Yes.
you lot, if you can hear me, please put 1 in the chat. Please put 1 in the chat. Best way to find out.
Well, if they can hear you, they can hear me.
Yep. No, I'm guessing they couldn't. Okay, cool.
There we go. And we go back to here. Go over here. And we go boom. And we're going to put Jenson over there. There we go. Not what I wanted. There we go.
Right, so as usual, I'm in the Far East. Good to know. Oh my God! Apparently, Shirachi could hear you because MC is low.
I'm low, am I?
Apparently.
I won't be now.
Yep. Okay. Well.
Guaranteed I won't be now. Well, right back over here. There we go. So we're live, is what you're saying?
We have not hit live yet. This is the funniest thing. Oh, we have hit live. Looks like we are active. Oh, awesome! Hello, everyone.
So everything.
Somehow we're live, and I didn't actually click the bloody button, which is kind of trippy. But hey, it is what it is. My God, we've been going for 2 minutes. Okay, well, I'm back. I didn't die, or at least I didn't die again. Hey, Oz. And we have our illustrious Nomads. Now, before we do this, in the description of this stream, you will actually see a link to Nomad's channel. Please make sure you join. Okay, Nomad, do your thing.
Do my thing. This is just going to be a kind of a review. I'm going to try to avoid too much talk about the World War III coming, going to kill us all. So let's just get started with what I think is relevant news right off the bat. In a surprise to nobody, the feds admit breaking law with delay in the case against the alleged January 6th rioter. Federal prosecutors admitted Monday to losing track, they just lost track, of one jailed defendant in the storming of the Capitol and conceded that the indictment against him should be dismissed. But they urged the judge to permit them to refile the charges. You want to talk about doublespeak? Because of the seriousness of his alleged attack.
Yeah, are they allowed to do that? I mean, different country and all that. Is that allowed, or don't you guys have rules and stuff for that?
Oh, rules? We don't need no sneaking rules.
That doesn't surprise me.
We don't need no stinking rules. We are the government, don't you understand? We don't need the stinking rules. You expect us to obey the rules? We made the rules.
Rules are for the peasants.
The rules are for the oiks.
Yeah. Hey. Only the British can call you the oiks. We're not going to... We have your back now. We are going to back you up, okay? Only the British can call you the oiks. Can't have your own people call you that.
We'll be talking about the British later, right? In an unusual court filing, lawyers for the U.S. Attorney's Office said that the handling of the case against Texas resident Lucas Denny violated his rights under the Speedy Trial Act. Okay, the reality is, this is not just one case. Okay? There are a lot of people in jail still. Not just one person who's been denied this. A lot of them have. And their excuse has been absolutely ridiculous. And these judges have been absolutely ridiculous with these rulings to begin with. These judges have been, quite frankly, heinous. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sugarcoat this or anything like that, all right? These judges have been heinous in the fact that, oh no, these people are a threat. These people are a major threat to everybody. You got to be real careful because these people are a threat and they could harm the world and America, and they were trying to overturn the government. It's a bunch of bullshit, and they all friggin' know it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things that has really been disturbing about this, okay, is the fact that they know how much bullshit's been going on. And the government, specifically the Justice Department, has turned a blind eye. They don't care about justice. Not just the Justice Department, the judiciary as a whole, these judges, they don't care about justice. This is not a joke. And when more evidence starts coming out, and it will, all right, let's be perfectly honest, okay, there's more evidence that's going to be coming out soon, all right, about just how bad this has gone for them.
Yeah.
But it'll come out after the fact. It'll come out after the fact when people start, oh, well, then the lawsuits and everything else will be happening. Right? We should be able to find you here.
I'll be honest with you. The fact that you got judges whose entire job is the justice system and they're ignoring it, it's disturbing. I'm not saying it's not expected, because let's be honest, system and all of that stuff has been corrupted for quite a while now, but it's just wrong.
It is.
Okay? Really is.
It is. Hi, Jim. Hi, Sherardi. How's it going, Sean?
Oh,
I wanted to say hi to you.
by the way, Nomad, please type something into the chat. I literally do not care what you type, but please type something into the chat.
There, I typed something in the chat. Is that good enough?
Yeah. I'm just waiting for it to come up. Exquisite. Okay, thank you. That's all I needed. Okay.
And why did you need that?
So as I can make you a moderator.
Oh, okay. Good morning, Straight System.
Okay.
The thing is, the thing about this is, all right, is they all know it's a bunch of bullshit. All right, they know that they're overemphasizing this thing, and what's more is they know that they set this up. They know that the FBI set this up, and it's a crime, and I mean a crime, for these people to have even allowed themselves to plead guilty to these things, because they're all you did was make it worse.
Yep.
All your reasoning for going there, all right, and protesting was made worse when you sit up there and gave into this crap, rather than sitting up there and ordering, all right, the Justice Department to turn over records to your defense. And to include the names of the FBI officials who then could be subpoenaed to bring them in. Because we know for a fact that one of the biggest callers of violence at January 6th was an FBI agent.
Yeah.
Now, does that excuse rioting? No. It doesn't. It's unfortunate that this turned violent, and it did turn violent, but it wasn't an overthrow of the government. They were not going to tar and feather or kill any of the legislators, or legislators, or anything like that. No one was in any kind of real danger, and I don't care what anybody says. In my opinion, that's the reality. And for God's sakes, you can't listen to people like, "Hey, I was crying. They were coming to kill me, and I was all behind." Which is now provably false. All right, that she wasn't doing anything of the kind. And it's not just because she's a drama queen. She's a lying psychopath, like most leftists are.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to some other stories.
Mm-hmm.
One dead and up to 20 shot at an Arkansas car show. Kids reported amongst the victims. Okay. At least one person was killed and up to 20 people were injured late Saturday after gunfire erupted outside a car show in Dumas, Arkansas. Or dumbass. I'm assuming it's Dumas. All right. Authorities said Dumas Police Chief Keith Finch told reporters that children were among the victims and police had one person of interest in custody. Investigators said they were said to be examining the possibility of multiple shooters, though the motive remains unclear. No further details on the victims was immediately available. The Arkansas State Police said troopers were dispatched to the scene at the 16th annual Hoodnick event just before 7:30 p.m. Lakisa Slater, who lives in Dumas, said she was sitting there in her car when she heard the gunfire. All I see was bullets going everywhere. You got some good eyes. If you can see them bullets are flying. Just putting it out there. All right?
You've watched too many Hollywood movies. The one thing before you carry on, okay? Did you notice they did not declare what ethnicity the shooter was at all? I listened very carefully for this.
Well, no.
Now
Eventually they'll get
drops
to
hints.
it. Eventually they'll get to it. I mean, I have my biases, all right, considering some of the terms that they use for this. For example, the what's the name of this thing? The Hoodnick, the annual Hoodnick event.
It does kind of drop subtle clues, doesn't it?
It does give you an impression that could be wrong. All right, I know nothing about this. All right, it's not that I haven't ever been to car shows. I've been to car shows before, but all right, which is kind of cool, right? You walk around, see everybody, people that have brought their cars for the car show that have got them all dolled up and pimped out and however you want to look at it, looking nice and shiny and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a car show.
Right? Yeah.
But seeing bullets going everywhere. Now, I will admit this. All right, if you're behind a 45 when you fire it, and you look out, you may catch a glimpse of the bullet.
Yeah.
If it's far enough away. All right, because the 45, the bullet is fairly slow. All right, but I've never seen any other ones. Not even 22s. All right. People running, people losing shoes, and people falling all around me, she said. She said her 12-year-old daughter was caught up in the pandemonium. I see my baby, and she took off running. She got ran over and got trampled. That's sad. All right. Slater said her daughter ended up with a bruised leg, but another girl who was knocked down in the exodus was gravely injured. She was very traumatized. It took me a while to calm her down. She said Dumas throws the event every year, and it's billed as a peaceful family picnic. All right? We're a small country town. Everybody knows everybody else, she said. But out-of-town people came in and destroyed it. It's just crazy. I can't even get my head around it. Why would you do this at an event where there are kids around? Now, the thing about this reporting here is they make it sound like 20 people were shot, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that that's the case. I think shooting began, people panicked, all right, and yes, a 45 is subsonic, at least out of the 1911 I was using.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, the it's still going at a pretty good clip. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Don't make any mistakes here. It's still going. It's still zipping along at a pretty good rate, and it's a heavy, thick round. All right. It's got a lot of weight behind it. All right. But back to this event.
Yeah.
They make it sound like I said, 20 people got shot. I have a feeling that the other people who were injured got trampled because people panic and they just start running all over people. Now, you
Pointed
know,
out that humans are basically herd animals, haven't they?
yes, but the thing is when you start catching fire or catching gunfire. Hi, Susan. Just to let you know, in the description is my channel, my new channel. But when bullets start flying, what you do is you seek cover, right?
Yes.
Normally, you're not running around willy nilly. It doesn't help you to run around, right? You get under cover or get down, and if there's no cover, you get down and start looking for cover, right? Now, granted, you and I have been trained to do this, right? You're trained to get down and then look, or get behind cover.
Yep.
Running makes you a target.
Yes.
Okay, and I mean that. Okay, when we would do what we call field problems or field exercises, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had a situation where a friend of mine was on the aggressor side and I was on the defensive side, right? In this war game kind of scenario, right?
Yeah.
And we had set up an ambush, and we ambushed them, right? Now, this is somewhat counterintuitive for people who don't know, but if it depends on how the ambush is sprung, right? If you're truly in an ambush, they teach us to rush through it. Okay? And the reason for it is if you just stay there, you're in a death ball. Right? I mean you're just in the trap. You got to get out of the trap as quickly as possible, and normally that means continue forward as rapidly as possible to push on through. Well, during this thing, all right, that's exactly what my friend did, and he got away, right? He pushed through and was by himself, and he went onto the road where I saw him and shot him in the back. Right, now this is with Miles gear, right? All right, so but he thought that he had survived the ambush, right? And he would have if he wouldn't have gotten back on the road. Don't ever get back in the clear. One thing that I learned about more than anything else that's stuck in my mind: you never take trails and you never take roads. When you're playing the infantry game, now granted, if you're in an urban environment, that's impossible. But when you're in the woods, stay off the freaking trails and stay off the roads because that's where you set up the ambushes.
Minor point for everyone: when it comes to hills, don't do what they do in all the movies where they go marching over the top of the hill, peering down. No, you go over the hill as low as possible. That way you don't have silhouette.
Yep.
For you guy who's sitting there in his little machine gun bunker going, look at these morons going over the hill. Daka, 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 daka. And that's your entire squad ruined. Am I in any way wrong with this, Nomad?
No, you're not. Normally that's the snipers, though. They're looking at this going, 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's not that's an old song from the days on past. This is not it's not a racial thing or anything.
No.
But this is how you handle combat. Now I realize in the civilian world, I don't know, man. I mean, it seems like you backfire a gun, people start panicking, right? Especially if it's rapid fire,
Yeah.
right? See, one gunshot, nobody's going to care. Like, bang. Then people look around. Okay, what was that? Bang, bang. Oh, okay, then people start hunching, right? Bang, 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 bang. People are running. What are you going to run
Yep.
to? Okay? Where are you going to run to?
You don't know where the shot's coming from, so...
Exactly, unless you saw the shooter, in which case you should be trying to get out of the guy's line of sight. Okay? Now, is there situations where, yes, you can see somebody running? Yeah, if you're having an open field, right, with literally no concealment around. But unfortunately, people panic and they just start running everywhere. Opposite of avoiding werewolves, stay off the moons.
You know what? I'm glad she actually put that. It's nice that someone else has watched American Werewolf in London and remembers it.
Stay off.
Yep, I know that. I know that film. I love that film. Awesome film.
All right, ready for the next story?
No, one last thing, and don't forget that film has Nazi zombies in it. Proof that they exist.
On to the next story. Senior advisor to Zelensky invites Biden to Kiev next week if he is brave when the commander-in-chief visits Europe for a NATO summit next week. Vladimir Zelensky's chief diplomatic advisor, all right, has invited Joe Biden to visit Kiev as he travels to Brussels for a NATO summit next week. The advisor, Ihor Zavoka, all right, said during a CNN interview Friday that one should not be afraid to travel to Kiev if you are brave. Zawaka has also claimed that Zelensky is disappointed in the U.S. and NATO's apparent rejection to fulfill the nation's request to impose a no-fly zone over its airspace. Additionally, he has asked Biden to assist with facilitating the Ukrainian acquisition of fighters and missile defense systems. It's unclear if the American president will accept the invitation. No, it's clear. He's not going to accept the invitation. I would be shocked if he did, okay? I would also be surprised if he got back alive. If he did do something this stupid, okay? Let me go to a nearly surrounded city by the enemy, all right? And how is he going to get there? You got the magic teleportation pads, right? To beam you on in.
Don't be silly. He's going to parachute in. They're going to push him to the door, shove him out, and throw the parachute out 5 minutes later.
From 10,000 feet.
Forgot his parachute. Yeah.
Whee!
It's all right. He'll catch it. He'll be fine.
The advisor also slammed the Ukrainians' allies, all right, alleging Zelensky is disappointed. All right, we already heard that. If NATO is not able to provide us with humanitarian no-fly zone, please provide us with fighter jets, all right, and anti-missile systems, Zavaka said. Okay.
Is that the one that fires antis?
Yep, it's very dangerous, ain't it?
Yeah.
Hey, Batman. How's it going, mate?
Not too bad, yourself.
This is my first day that I'm alive.
Batman has decided to join us.
Not very much longer where the world's going.
I know, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, hey, the way the world's heading right now makes me glad I'm 58.
The way your world's going right now, you might not make it 59, let's get blunt.
Yeah. That's always been in the
Batman
cards.
in the center of the universe.
Hey, MC, can you remember a show called... I'll wait till you finish this. I'll wait till you finish this artichoke. And hello, Jim, and Susan, and...
Jirachi is there,
Great Sith
and
male.
so is Oz.
No,
And
good
Sean.
Oz.
And Sean, yeah, Sean was in. Sean tends
don't
to
forget Sean.
listen in the background for long periods.
Sean,
Oh, yeah.
see.
Mm-hmm. He's Sean the sheep.
So Batman, do you think that Biden should fly to Kiev?
No, I think somebody with a brain should go.
Actually, that's really funny about that. You're accusing the American government of having someone with a brain. Really?
Oh yeah, you said the words there, government.
Says it all.
All right. Yeah, no, look, Biden is not going to go there. Even if, now, Air Force One is heavily defended. I'm not going to deny that. Okay? But that doesn't mean that you're going to fly intentionally into a combat zone. That's just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Right? If no American president is going to do that. All right, for the most part, in this kind of a situation, especially a combat zone where there's no American troops. Now you'll see American presidents show up in combat zones in areas that we control. Now, what was that, Batman?
What if it's a diehard, lunatic Trumpist supporter that's flying Biden at the time? Yeah, straight into a combat.
You're going to tell me that a U.S. Air Force pilot is going to go, you know what, let's go Rambo on this guy and divert the aircraft on over?
He might lose his mind.
It's
a chance like
I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, let's face it. Let's face it, Snow Brad. You would.
We're not talking about me, number one, and I am not a pilot. I don't have the ability to fly anything.
If you were though, you would. You take him over a combat zone and kick him out.
Off my goddamn plane!
Whether that's true or not, it's immaterial to this discussion. Let's be perfectly honest here.
Yep.
Doku said never underestimate Joe.
Yeah.
There's no way
you can't underestimate it, because as low as your opinion of him is, he finds a way to be even lower.
It's hard to underestimate him. It really is. So now, if he's willing to do something like that and actually goes across and travels on over to Kiev, right, and gets out alive, you know what? It could save his presidency. I'll be honest with you.
Now they're arguing about our age in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm saying, unlike you, Nomad, I count my age in years, not geological eras.
It is what it is. Let's get out of the next story here.
Before you do, can you remember a TV show called Wait Till Your Father Gets Home?
That was a long time ago.
Cartoon show. Because Nomad here, I strongly suspect would have been the youngest son in the Boyle family.
Okay.
The one who's always looking out. Yeah, the eldest son was like a hippie. The daughter was a fat semi hippie, and the youngest son was making more money than his dad already.
I can't say anything about that. All right.
Yeah, the one of your family, didn't they?
Well, I must admit that all of us children ended up making more than our father did his entire career by the time we were 45.
Unfortunately, because of the way prices have gone now, so have people who are unemployed these days.
Well, there's that too, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
All right. New York City thieves captured on video taking bulletproof vests meant for the Ukraine. Surveillance video shows hoodie-wearing thieves brazenly stealing bulletproof vests meant for the Ukraine, loading cardboard boxes into vans and driving off. Two vans, one white and one black, pulled up to the East Village building that houses the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America and the Ukrainian National Women's League of America, according to the video shot Tuesday and obtained by the Post. Men with masks and hoodies.
Ethnically diverse vans.
Yes, ethnically diverse vans. All right, men in masks and hoodies exit a white van around 10 p.m., walk back and forth with boxes from the building at 203 2nd Avenue to the vehicle the video shows. One box is so large it needed 2 people to carry it out. Passerbys were seen walking down the block without giving the thieves a second glance. Well, let's be honest. If you see guys coming in and out, loading stuff up into a thing, would you think that they were robbing a place necessarily?
Not just that.
No.
We're talking about New York here in the modern age.
Well, even if it's not New York, I mean...
Hold on. People believe just about everything they see in the media. They were probably waiting for Spider-Man or the Avengers to come along and fucking stop them.
That's not unreasonable.
I mean, you look at these guys. First of all, they're completely masked up.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
There wouldn't have to be if they'd done a little bit more preparation, gotten the right uniforms, and stenciled the vans out properly. They could have done this in broad daylight, and people wouldn't have fucking batted an eyelid.
True.
Well, but in broad daylight, there would have been people at the building.
Guys, from Susan,
said,
people in Harlem will be buying them for $20 each.
Yeah.
Wow.
Slow down. The thing is, if they'd done the research properly, if it was properly planned one, they could have done it in broad daylight and walked past the check-ins and everything, because they would have had information. It's been done before. It's been done hundreds of times before.
Well, yeah, but my guess is first of all, this is an inside job.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, somebody knew these vests were there, then that they were going to be eventually shipped out. All right, and took them. And unfortunately, Susan's right. They're gonna go on the street and be sold to people on the street.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right.
One thing that Susan said you might want to take note of: people stole a grand piano in Berklee College of Jazz dressed as repairmen.
Yep.
That doesn't shock me. It really doesn't. It disturbs me, yes.
It's Berklee.
Not shocks me.
It's Berklee, and stealing is a way of life.
This is the first
right now in California, stealing is a way of life.
Yeah, mainly it's done in Hollywood, and there's theft is ideas.
Well, Berkeley's considered central, but Central California.
Really? Oh, cool.
Yeah, Berkeley's is near San Francisco.
So are you still praying to the Native American gods of the earth for the big one in California? Are you?
No, he's getting a rock ready to lob at it.
But since you talked about Native Americans, Disney World is criticized over racist performance by Texas high school at Magic Kingdom. Orlando, Florida. Disney World is coming under fire for hosting what activists called a racist depiction of Native American culture during a performance by Texas high school students at the Magic Kingdom this week. The criticism comes as Disney continues to deal with the backlash over its early silence on Florida's so-called Don't Say Gay bill approved by the legislature.
They got attacked by gays as well this week, didn't they?
Yeah. Performing in marching band showcase on Tuesday, members of the Indianettes drill team from Port Neches Groves High School in Port Neches, Texas, wore fringed outfits, yelled "Scalp 'em, Indians, scalp 'em" near the entrance of the Magic Kingdom, a moment captured on video, and the phrase is part of the school's Cherokee fight song.
Susan says she heard Chip and Dale is somehow offensive too. Yes, Chip and Dale are offensive, but not for the ways the left think.
Okay. Tara Huska, a Ojibwe tribal attorney and founder of the Ginawee Collective, a Native American advocacy group, posted the footage on Twitter on Thursday night, calling out the school and Disney. Any natives who attended the Port Neches Groves High School should probably just accept that their classmates dehumanizing them because tradition, right? She wrote. Shame on Disney. Shame. This, folks, at this point right here is exactly where you would go in there if you had any brains at all. And you would sit up there and tell her it's not racism, okay? Stop looking around for being offended. If you're offended because of the air you breathe, because you breathe in air that I also breathe, and I'm not your Native American person, you have a problem. And that's what she has. That's what they all have. At this point, Disney should say, go F yourself.
They don't have problems. They are problems.
Well,
If these people are so desperate for things to be offended at and fight against China, Russia, Pakistan, it's like that. Things are shitty. These are evil fucking dictatorships.
yeah.
Turkey.
And you're right, Straight says Male, that she does not speak for all Native Americans, all right? And that's one of the problems. Most likely, this high school, right, has a large contingent of Cherokees, right? And probably was established that way. They are not dehumanizing them.
Grobag. Yes, yeah, you're right. She doesn't speak. In fact, she's speaking for a ridiculously small amount of natives because most of them don't care about this shit.
Yeah.
Well, the sad part is these liberals have taken over these areas. Unfortunately, a lot of these people, I understand what you're saying, but the problem is they have allowed, okay, these organizations have allowed the leftists to take over. They now define these people. They now define them, and I know people don't want to hear it, but it's the same thing like when you give somebody an okay sign. Oh, no, that's white power now. What the hell is that? All right, where did that come from? That came from a bunch of leftists who eventually got it in the public's idea that the okay is somehow white power, and somehow how somehow now that's what it means, and that's what it's referenced. The leftists do this to control the narrative and control speech. These are really anti-free speech people.
I don't think that kind of thinking's working in my part of the world. Yesterday I was down the local park, Riverside Park, and there was this bunch of kids running around in the trees and that, and you know what they were doing?
Oh.
They were playing cowboys and fucking Indians.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys remember when we were playing Cowboys and Indians as kids, right? But I will say right now, all right, one thing that people never understood is when we were playing Cowboys and Indians, the Cowboys didn't always win.
We used to the girls would want to play with us. I mean, it would be about 6 or 7, and we'd say, all right, we'll go and play hide and seek. You lot go and hide, and we'll come and catch you. So they went to hide somewhere. We could bugger off down the woods and play Cowboys and Indians.
But it's amazing what's happened to our society now as a result of all this leftist nonsense and the damage that they've done to society as a whole. Okay, since we're talking about social issues,
our society's almost finished anyway.
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's $100 million legal war calls James Franco, Paul Bettany, Elon Musk, Disney and Warner Brothers representatives as witnesses at a trial. Jason Momoa.
Yep.
Brian
The
Lord
guy who plays
emails
Awkward Man.
added to the docket. Now, why am I doing this?
The thing is, there's a ridiculous amount of people have come down since this start on Johnny Depp's side. And most of them have been, and a lot of them have been like women he's had relationships with.
Yeah.
He has a ridiculously huge amount of character weaknesses.
Yeah.
And she's got 3.
There likely won't be a red carpet rolled out in front of the Fairfax County Courthouse, but some big names are coming to Johnny Depp's now $100 million defamation battle with his ex-wife Amber Heard when the long-delayed trial starts next month. If the 3-year-old and counting case survives, this case has been going on for 3 years?
Yeah.
The first person who should be fired right now is the judge who allowed that.
It's been through many different judges.
And fire every friggin' one of them.
It's not the judges that are keeping it running. It's the fucking lawyers. And Amber Heard.
No, but the judges have the ability.
The only reason Heard married Depp was because Johnny Depp's career was way more spectacularly successful than hers.
Yep.
Well,
Uh,
I assume that
she has a history of being the instigator of domestic violence. He doesn't.
Well, and the thing is
Yeah, so
with her, she's
it's a
a gold digger. She was doing it for her career, right?
Yep.
And the goat man has arrived.
Yeah, we know. Yes, Mr. Goatman, it's about the money.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
and the lawyers are winning.
Well, of course the lawyers are winning, but the judges are the ones dragging this kind of crap out. And what happens when you do this is
No, it's not the
cases.
judges dragging them
If
up.
let's say there's 30 cases a year, just as an example. Well, if you're having 30 cases a year, but it takes you 3 years to get through these things, all right? In the judiciary, at that point, you've got 90 cases going on simultaneously. This is how the pipeline gets frickin' stuffed up in these judicial proceedings. And this is why I have talked for decades and decades about the primary thing that has to be happening is you need to reform the judiciary branch in this country, because this is absolutely ridiculous now. 3 years for this? 3 years? Really? Now, if you want to come back and say, well, these people didn't have enough time for this and these people didn't have enough time for that, that's not on the court. That's on them and their opportunity to bring up what's necessary at that time. And if they go to court too early without having the evidence already brought up, that's on them. Or do you guys disagree?
I've got a way to simplify divorce. It's 2 people enter, 1 person leaves.
Two people enter, 1 person leaves. Is that your view?
Yeah. Yep. I'm for the Thunderdome style of divorce.
Oh yeah.
If the judge forced to go ahead, lawyers file motions, and if denied,
judge
goes to the appellate court. They're going to go to the appellate court anyway.
Yep.
And the thing is, the judge will have to get dressed up like what you call it in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
We had a divorce case that took
With
about 5 years.
With the blonde wig and everything.
5 years in a divorce case. 5 years to get the paper to say, you're free. Regardless of what side you're on. Because one side obviously wants out, not both. 5 freaking years.
Most people I know have been divorced. They've taken legal advice, not hired a solicitor or anything, and it's been a quick and painless divorce.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, most of the divorced people that I know, all right, personally, it was painful and it remains painful.
Yeah, well, you're American.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, you've got an entirely different legal culture over there.
That's very true.
I mean, if I was down the pub and somebody accidentally knocked into me and they chipped a tooth, oh, you bastard, and punch him. That'd be the end of it. In the States, it'd be, oh, you bastard, on the phone, get your lawyer, have the guy dragged through court and sue him for everything he's got.
Yeah. No, you're right. All right, so I'll go on to the next story.
Mm-hmm.
The man behind Ethereum is worried about crypto's future. Dude, you should have been worried about crypto when you created it.
Yeah, the thing is, crypto's future's very bright because there's a lot less kryptonite knocking about than there used to be, so that dog's safe.
Really?
In a few minutes, an electronic music will start pulsing. Stuffed animals will be flung through the air. Women will emerge spinning Technicolor hula hoops. What the hell is this? All right. And a mechanical bull will rev into action, bucking off one delighted rider after another. It's the closing party of Denver, all right, a week-long cryptocurrency conference dedicated to blockchain Ethereum. Lines have stretched around the block for days. Now on Sunday night, to get into hula hoops and animals flung through the air and a mechanical bull ride.
I've got a couple of things to say about cryptocurrencies. Mm-hmm. Well, there's two main reasons that cryptocurrencies started out. It was obviously the people who started them out wanted to get rich, but it was also to limit the control governments have on currency, on wealth.
Well, there are people who
But
did that.
unfortunately, governments across the world are starting to roll out their own cryptocurrencies.
Biden just issued an executive order to create the digital dollar.
They're trying to roll out Bitcoin over here, but financial advisors are warning people not to trust any government-funded cryptocurrency.
They shouldn't trust any cryptocurrency. All right, Vitalik Buterin, the most influential person in crypto, didn't come to Denver to party. He doesn't drink or particularly enjoy crowds. Not that there isn't plenty for the 28-year-old creator of Ethereum. Excuse me. Ethereum is the way I guess it's supposed to be pronounced. All right, to celebrate. 9 years ago, he dreamed up Ethereum as a way to leverage the blockchain technology underlying Bitcoin for all sorts of uses beyond currency. Since then, it's emerged as the bedrock layer of what advocates say will be the new open source decentralized internet. Ether, the platform's native currency, has become the second biggest cryptocurrency behind Bitcoin, powering a $1 trillion ecosystem that rivals Visa in terms of money it moves. Ethereum has brought thousands of unbanked people around the world into the financial systems, allowed capital to flow unencumbered across borders, and provided the infrastructure for entrepreneurs to build all sorts of new products, from payment systems to prediction markets, digital swap meets to medical research hubs. All right. Now, all of that belies the fact that anytime you create a transaction, it can be tracked. People wake the F up about this shit. If you were worried about the government tracking everything you purchase and everything you buy, all right, then this should terrify you. Because you are leaving a digital footprint wherever the flip you go.
Yep.
I can't understand why people cannot get it through their heads about this stuff and how dangerous this thing can be. Now, this freaking clown, all right, is worried because Ethereum has made a handful of white men unfathomably rich, pumped pollutants into the air, and emerged as a vehicle for tax evasion, money laundering, and mind-boggling scams. Really? And this is a shock to you, dumbass.
That's the thing. Another thing is, about government control. Paper currency. Yeah, what us old folk are used to.
Right.
I mean, the government had a measure of control over it, but ridiculously small amount of control because you can't keep track of all that fucking currency knocking about, right?
Correct.
Well,
was only ever an estimated amount of currency in circulation. They never had an exact figure. They couldn't. There's that much of it. But with a digital currency as in the government hands, they have absolute control over it. Say you're a political troublemaker, and your country runs entirely on some kind of cryptocurrency, government run, and you're a troublemaker. Going, all right, political troublemaker. Oh, that's his social security, that's his bank details. He's got no more money.
Yep.
That's what they would have done in Canada to the truck drivers. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, I mean, bank accounts nowadays, the government can do that. Once over it would need a court order, and it'd have to go through loads of processes. Now, they don't even need a court order.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
I've got to say, it's a shame.
Frightening.
It's a shame Doku isn't around right now because I'm sure he'd be able to give us a whole lot more insight than we can come up with.
Well,
It
okay,
being kind of his thing.
with like dollars or pounds when it was paper notes, right? The thing is in order to track where those would have to be, is you'd have to write down who you gave the note to.
Here's something for you. I'd say in 10 years, the largest amount of money I've actually had in my pocket has been
What?
about £10. That's not because, I couldn't get access to more currency if I wanted, but everything's done on your card.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, everything is done
Either
on card
credit
now,
or debit card.
and that
Either
is
credit or
trackable
debit
too.
card.
All
Yeah.
those transactions are trackable as well, and that's one of the things. One of the reasons why I wish we'd go back to cash. It's becoming increasingly
the worst.
harder out here in the United States
Hey,
actually to pay for
the
things in
worst.
cash.
Yep, it's the same over here. I ought to pay for things, without going online. But here's another thing that's bad about it.
Okay.
You know that most purse snatchers, pickpockets, and muggers know somebody with a credit or debit card reader. So they'll grab your wallet, they'll run off, say the mate, straight into your bank accounts, clean you out.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's
And
ridiculous.
half the time, that's even if you've warned your bank,
Yeah,
Yep.
unfortunately, yeah. All
because
right,
they've got your sort code now.
NCAA women's champ caught in possession of performance-enhancing testicles from the Babylon Bee, a parody site. Atlanta, Georgia. Celebrations for winning the 500-yard freestyle at the NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships were short-lived for the convincingly
guy.
female athlete Leah Thomas. All right, as authorities caught her in possession with performance-enhancing testicles.
Hold
Investigators
on a
will
minute.
need
Hold
time.
on a minute. The Babylon Bee's supposed to be a parody site. What the fuck? This isn't parody. This is real.
Investigators will need time to shift through the trail of evidence right now, said the NCAA's head of testicle enforcement, Bobby Huevos,
Here's the thing.
while holding up a jockstrap, the device suspected to have been used to conceal the contraband from rigorous testing protocols. Oh, God. Blood tests of the disgraced, obviously female swimmer have led Habos to believe that Thomas had a long history of using testicles to dose with powerful testosterone, perhaps beginning in the early childhood. Long-term testicle use like this, they explain the female swimmer's towering height, powerful muscles, dense bone structure, or a deep voice and bulging crotch.
Total clue. By the way, Batman, I sent you a picture in your Discord DMs. It's that creature winning an award. Take a look at the picture, and I think you'll see why I find it
Now,
highly entertaining.
we can talk and laugh about this, but the reality is this guy, and it's a guy, all right.
It's not. Yeah, I severely doubt that they are trans, as they claim, or transsexual or transgender.
Well, the first
whatever.
time I saw an interview with this guy, and I was like, "That's a guy."
It's man.
You know, it's like this is bullcrap. All right, it's if for female sports, if females don't get it through their freaking heads, all right, that they got to put a stop to this kind of nonsense. Because let's be honest, all right,
They're
you're
trying.
born
They're
with
trying.
you're born with a certain amount of DNA in your body, certain type of DNA. All right, you're either born a man or you're born a woman. Okay, that's reality.
Yep.
Okay, your DNA is either male or female.
Hold on. Yeah. If that's true, then explain Alex Kurtzman.
We don't explain that creature.
We're not gonna go into mutants. Okay. All right, but the reality is they are denying what they are. You can say, "Well, I feel like a woman," as a man, right? I could say, "I feel like a woman." How the hell do I know what a woman feels like? I know what
That's
a
the
woman
thing,
feels like when I touch
though.
them, but that's about the only way I know what a woman feels like. Because I'll
That,
never know that because I'll
oh,
never
look,
be a
no
woman.
lads. Yeah, no lads. That's true. And the real transgenders and transsexual people understand that. And this gender reassignment surgery is basically the only way they can deal with their situation. And even that's not a perfect thing because there's still a high fucking suicide rate amongst them.
Well, there's a massive suicide rate.
People like this swimmer, uh, before they became a woman, they were a very mediocre athlete. Never hit any marks, never broke any records, hardly won anything. Now they're a woman, they're winning all the time.
Yeah.
And you know, they have not transitioned even slightly.
Many of them haven't. That's very true. And what's even worse about that whole situation is, like, one of the people that was being interviewed, one of the women athletes that was competing against this guy, right?
And I bet she's
Claimed to have heard, all right, that the coach telling this person to slow down because it was becoming too obvious.
yeah. I bet that this woman is also a lesbian.
That's not how I would put it necessarily, straight since male, but 48% self-delete rate. Look, they have
Very accurate description.
these are people that have mental problems, all right? They're mentally ill in my opinion. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not claiming to be one.
You know,
But
the
it's
way the
obvious
world
to
is
me
now.
that if you're denying reality, okay, you have a mental disorder of some sort. If you're denying
Like I
reality.
said, the real transgender and transsexual people would agree with you. It is a mental problem. It has a physical component to it, but it's still a mental problem.
Yeah.
I mean, Blair White says it herself.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
People like that.
that doesn't mean that they deserve to be abused or anything else. I'm not trying to
No,
say that. I'm just
it doesn't.
but the reality is in my opinion, right, is this stuff has gone now to the point where it's absolute nonsensical. And to listen to these college idiots
I'm firmly of the
promote this bullshit, it's just like, who the hell told you this? Where the hell did when did this? Where have you? This is the problem with college right now and everything, because they have stifled free speech to the point where people who know what they're going to say will get shouted down. All right, because other people who needed to step up and say, "Look, dumbass, here's the reality of this." You need to start using your brain for something aside from a freaking cocktail party, all right? Because that's what it seems to be all it's useful for.
most of them use it. Let's face it. Let's face it here, slow Brad. Most of them use their brains as paperweights. But
Fair.
where the world is now, I'm firmly convinced that the political system we should adopt is that used in the domed city in Logan's Run.
Renew.
Oh, like Percy. Yep.
Once your life crystal turns black, you go to carousel to be renewed.
I'm okay with this. I really, really am.
You're
If you-
gonna turn the world over to the same idiots in college. Is that your plan? I'm sorry, but I have a problem with that.
No, I'm on about the Logan's Run, the TV series where it's a bunch of conservative old white men who are really running the show.
Oh, it's the conservatives that are causing the problem. Oh, my mistake.
No, the conservatives are not solving the problem.
Yeah, hold up. Whoa. What do you mean there's old people in charge? No one actually told me this. I thought the whole point with Logan's Run was you hit 30, you get fried.
Yeah, in the TV show, there was actually a secret council running the city comprised of all these old guys.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I didn't actually know that. Cool.
TV series different from the movie.
In the movie and the books, it's basically an AI.
Yeah. The books apparently, I haven't read the books, but apparently they differ greatly from the movie.
Nervous females.
But I mean, come on, you've got this domed city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where the only people who actually have to work are the cops or the sandmen.
Yep.
Everybody else, they've only got a job if they want one.
I mean, they have jobs. I mean, Farrah Fawcett had
Yeah,
a
some
job.
of them.
It wasn't-
Yeah,
it
but
wasn't a
only
good
because she wanted one. They didn't need jobs.
Her job was pressing the button, but I mean, it's
Yeah, yeah. She pressed my button all the time during the 70s.
you must have hated
Yeah.
Lee Majors then.
I kept wishing he'd get rust in his bionic fucking legs.
Okay, on to the next story. Overwhelmed prosecutors quitting in tears amid staffing crisis. New York City district attorneys say. Really? Underpaid prosecutors overwhelmed by a mammoth backlog of cases are quitting in droves when their work is needed more than ever, the city's district attorneys told the city council on Friday. Staff members have cited the responsibilities of discovery, managing the backlog cases, and increased night and weekend shifts among reasons why they leave, said the Bronx district attorney Darcel Clark, told the council's public safety committee at a virtual budget hearing. People are in tears when they leave because they love the work that they do for the Bronx community, but now the job is overwhelming. Really?
Really?
How many years have you been going on now trying to investigate Trump? It's like 6 years now, 7 years. You guys have been
Yeah.
6 or 7 years. You guys have been intentionally going after Trump almost to exclusion. And you're gonna bitch because you have all the, and this is after you guys have decided to let all these criminals just walk in and out without ever charging them. And now you're bitching and crying about, oh my God, it's I gotta work overtime. Oh my God, it's unbelievable that never okay. There's murders everywhere. No shit. Maybe if you guys wouldn't have sit up there and let the criminals back out on the goddamn streets, you wouldn't have a backlog of crimes to deal with. Or am I just missing something, guys?
Oh, no.
No. You're fine. You're fine. You keep on with your rant. Mine, I don't know if it's me, but I can hear the little Charlie Chaplin-like moustache growing on his lip.
Folks, look at what they've done. These are the same people. All right, who ignored, all right, the violence going on in New York City and ramping up day by day. And if I was listening to this, my comment would have been that, well, then why aren't you prosecuting people? Is it too damn tough? Instead of going after Trump and with a freaking fine-tooth comb and inventing things to say, hey, we can try and get him on this, maybe you should be looking at the real criminals. Or is that too goddamn tough?
Well, you have to look, if they went after the real criminals, who would pay them their backhanders?
Well, after the real criminals, it's easy. It's called The Other Side of the House. And most of the bright side as well, let's be fair.
I like what Susan said earlier on. Hold on, I'll look it up. Come on, what? Oh, yeah, they found out they need more in private practice.
Biden's son qualifies to register as a foreign agent. That's what we're dealing with. Biden Hunter shared bank account. Yeah, no, she's right. Susan, you're right. But see, Trump is the problem. We're going to get him because he overestimated the value of his properties. Yeah, let's go with that. We'll say that he overestimated the value of the property to get a loan. Yeah.
In a funny way, and an unintentional way, Trump's actually been the best ally for the Democrats because he's given them something they can use to distract everybody from what they're doing.
That's very true, unfortunately, because he's not there to sit up there and defend himself, all right, and he screwed up. I said this at the very beginning, right? One of the things that Trump needed to do, right, was with certain departments. Once he became president, one of the things he needed to do right off the bat was he needed to clean house, all right, in certain departments.
Yeah, like I said,
like the State Department, he needed to fire everybody in the State Department, and I'm not exaggerating.
Like I said, yeah, he should have cleaned house. He had death camps for the Democrats.
I like your plan. Just saying.
All right, Batman. This next
Yes.
guy, um, I don't know who he is, and I'd like you to explain to me who he is. All right. Peter
No.
Hitchens. All right, we denounce Putin's bombs and pay homage to rulers behind an even filthier war. On my daily bike rides through the lovely city of Oxford, I notice that the rainbow banners of sexual revolution, which normally fly from the ancient colleges, are now being replaced with Ukrainian flags. For anyone who's actually been to the Ukraine or knows about its less than charming nationalist militias, all right, this is something of a puzzle. I cannot see my old friend Peter Thatchell, all right, getting on very well with the dogged fighters of as the Azov battalion. And let's face it,
Can you
these
remember?
these neo Nazis can fight, or they're friends in the right sector. But life is so much more complicated than it looks, and politics even more so. We've barely escaped from the rigid conformism of the COVID pandemic when dissent was perilous. And yet, we already embraced a new cult of Ukraine worship that is risky to challenge. And yet, and it is yet again the same people and the same movement. He's not wrong about this.
Yeah. If you remember a guy called Christopher Hitchens,
Yep. His sibling.
that's his brother,
Yep.
and he's got
Okay.
the same political views. But you can't call the Azov battalion neo-Nazis because neo-Nazis means new Nazis.
Yes.
These people have been the same type of Nazis ever since World War II.
That's very true.
They're just Nazis.
Yes.
No neo about it. They're Nazis.
And
They're the type.
your question of who this Peter Hitchens is, he's an English author, broadcaster, journalist, and commentator.
No.
He writes for the Mail on Sunday and was former foreign correspondent reporting both Moscow and Washington. There you go.
And if he was on, if you were arguing with him, MC, he'd have you in tears. He really, he's that smart.
He would have you in tears laughing? Probably.
No, he would have you in tears because he'd tie you up in fucking knots.
For what? What do we do? There is a thing that we disagree with, right? And that is what's going on in Yemen. Okay? The reality of what's going on in Yemen is, first of all, it was a civil war sparked by the Iranians, right? And it was targeted, whether this Peter Hitchen wants to admit this or not, it was targeted at Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia was the one dealing with the inflow and so forth from this. So the fact that Saudi Arabia got involved is a no-brainer. Now, is the warfare brutal and vicious and where no holds are barred? Yes. Right? It's a vicious, brutal war. It's a brutal civil war where people are murdered and just massacred. Yes, massacres are taking place. But don't sing me a song and dance about what the Saudis are doing at the same time ignoring about what the Iranians and the Houthis are doing. Because they're just as bad. They're just as psychotic.
You just give me an idea now with what you just said. Yeah, the Yemen, the musical.
Yeah, unlike your idea, Batman, about Yemen, it's actually hippie central. It's actually pronounced Yemen.
Yeah, man.
I actually really like that. That disturbingly fits.
I mean, you can say that the Saudis are a bunch of murdering dictators. Well, show me a country in that region where the ruler is not a murdering dictator.
Well, there's hold on. There's
Yeah.
well, now you got me.
I've got one. It's called Israel. It's the only one. They're just a bunch of
No,
hippie
yeah, you're right.
bastards, but that's a separate
You're
issue.
right. Up until the old guard died, everybody who became president of Israel it was a former fucking terrorist.
But Dr. Bollocks loves Peter Hitchens, apparently. One of the best comb-overs in British journalism.
Male nurse bollocks.
Welcome. By the way, I have a new channel. It's in the description if you care to join my channel.
Rather
Now,
not.
ready to go to the next thing.
Go
Thousands of
for it, sir.
anti-racism protesters march on London just days after fury over report revealing Met Police strip searched a black teenage girl accused of smelling for cannabis in school, or smelling of cannabis,
Mm,
I guess.
that's more like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Anti-racism demonstrators have organized marches throughout London, Glasgow, and Cardiff this weekend. All refugees welcome. A march against racism protect will mark the United Nations Anti-Racism Day.
Nobody
Well,
cares.
actually, hold it. Now I'm actually going to step down on this one. Actually, I actually agree, kind of, with what they're doing for one reason. I don't know because you didn't mention it here, and I don't know if you know about it, but apparently that poor girl was actually on her period when they went in and demanded the strip search of the poor kid.
I'm sorry, but
That's horrifying.
the way it's being worded, yeah, it makes you think that the Metropolitan Police in London are now employing sniffer blacks to find drugs.
Thousands of
Just let the
anti-racism
black idiot find the
demonstrators
drugs.
marched through London to mark UN Anti-Racism
Sorry.
Day, a day after a damning report found a black teenage girl was strip searched over smelling of cannabis. Organizers Stand Up to Racism led All Refugees Welcome March Against Racism protest march from the BBC Broadcasting House down to Whitehall to Parliament Square this afternoon. Around 10,000 turned out to protest in the capital, with some 2,000 marched to Glasgow today. Stand Up to Racism said in a tweet. Is Glasgow just how big is Glasgow?
Actually, not as big as you might think. It's just got, how to put it, a reputation. And the reputation is of lots and lots and lots of very out of their head, on crack and drunk people basically spoiling for a fight. And you've got two football teams, both of them who hate each other.
So you're basically describing the Metropolitan Police force.
I'm actually okay with that as a statement too.
Right. Social media footage of the march from Glasgow showed crowds chanting, "No borders, no nation, no deportations. Say it loud and say it clear. Refugees are welcome here." You're an idiot. These are Marxist folks. These are commies, right? At Parliament Square, speakers included Diane Abbott, author Michael Rosen, who I don't know, and Refugee Council Chief Executive Enver Solomon were addressing the crowd. Don't get me wrong.
Nomads, you realise that Diane Abbott actually made scientific history.
Oh.
She's the first person who's actually proven to have a negative IQ score.
But you say first person, I would go with oldest maybe, but not first, because let's face it, AOC has got to be a close contender with that statement.
No, Diane Abbott is the oldest. She's also the first.
And of course, Extinction Rebellion was leading the charge in this case. Now, I do have a question
Jenson
here.
has grown himself to be the third.
Okay, I do have a question. Right? There's a
We're
lot
going
of
to pretend we
ways.
can't hear it.
Let's be honest. There's a lot of ways you can end up smelling like cannabis. All right. You could have gone to a concert. You could have been in the bathroom of your freaking local school.
You could have just been in a room and somebody else is fucking doing the stuff.
Right.
Yep.
So why the hell would you do a strip search of this person?
I think they've taken. I think they've taken what happened and they've only picked out the stuff which is going to clickbait people.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's very possible. But my question is, why
probably a lot more involved.
What was the Met involved in this case for to begin with? Is my question.
It's just like the police force, isn't it? It's just like, yeah, it sounds like a sort of search, and it's probably a lot more than just she smelled like she was on drugs, because that's not going to fly in court.
No.
And if you strip search somebody, you're going to have to take them to fucking court.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, pat down's one thing, but
No, that was a
just
strip search. It said strip
yeah,
search.
no, I know. Like I said, I was going to say a pat down
Yeah,
is one thing,
and
but a strip
we
search.
want to strip search this one because she smells like she's been doing cannabis. That's not good enough, Constable.
Yeah,
That's exactly what would happen.
uh,
There's got to be more than she smelled of cannabis.
Be honest, okay? You're going to go to court, and the judge is going to say 2 words, and the police are going to be going, "Oh bugger!" And those 2 words are, "Prove
Oh,
it."
yeah. Or he's
All
going to
you
say
need,
2 other words.
prove it.
And he's going to say 2 other words. And one's going to be about sex. The other one's going to be about travel.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
just I
suppose
just
we'll
had
have
I
a
to
like
tell
one being off.
yeah.
now was this part of a drug raid possibly? All right. What investigation caused them to grab a teenage girl? All right.
It could have been just a stop and search, and can't you popular believe? Just as many white kids are stopped as black kids in London for
Were they strip
search.
searched?
No, they weren't, unless there was reason to take them to the police station and strip search them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, if they smelled the cannabis, that wouldn't have been reason, though. I'm just putting that out there.
No, it wouldn't have been, and they wouldn't have done it. There's got to be more involved than what what the daily fucking rag is on about.
Susan, at the time that the strip search probably took place, she probably was under arrest. Whether or not they charged her is a separate issue, though. Right. But then again, I don't know all the different rules that you guys. Your rules for your cops are a lot different than ours. Right. Some are more lenient. Some are more harsh. I mean, it's really interesting.
I don't think there's any leniency applied to all police, or there didn't used to be.
No, you guys have your police powers are broader in some senses and
Yeah.
narrower in others for us.
Mm.
They don't match up.
Yeah, because I mean, you can do something in like London, bugger off to Newcastle, and the Metropolitan Constabulary can still come up and arrest you without having to have some kind of extradition order.
Yep.
For one thing.
Yeah, you guys have strange rules.
No, you have strange rules. We have rules.
No, you have strange rules.
No, you
again,
have strange rules.
Then again, we don't have strange rules. We got a strange leader.
It's also true.
Biden says, I may be Irish, but I'm not stupid. No.
Hold on. Biden is not Irish. If Biden was Irish, he couldn't be president because he wouldn't be American.
President Biden spoke at the traditional St. Patrick's Day luncheon in the Capitol on Thursday. He started with a joke. I may be Irish, but I'm not stupid. Yeah, you're not Irish, and yes, you are.
yeah. I was going to say he's wrong on both calls there.
Right.
Yeah.
He called Russia's leader a murderous dictator, a pure thug who is waging an immoral war against the people of Ukraine. Not inaccurate. In a wide-ranging speech, he also discussed China. China doesn't get the pure thug and immoral war against the Uyghurs. We're not going to go that way. What a surprise! Wouldn't have anything to do with the $1 billion from good old your son, right?
I think it'd probably be amusing to find out that Biden's Irish heritage, he's probably descended from the English people that went over and took land when Oliver Cromwell invaded Ireland.
Democrat Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, read a poem by U2 frontman Bono comparing Ireland to the Ukraine.
Wow.
Oh, get off. I always hate that guy. Bono.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
The best depiction of Bono was done by South Park. Okay.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
I'm just checking out Biden's name here. Biden is an Anglo-Saxon name.
Really? What a surprise.
To have its origins amongst button makers in England.
Yeah.
Don't go there.
Yeah, Irish. He hasn't even got Irish heritage. He's as Irish as Mom's apple pie.
You know that the Irish themselves actually really, and I do strongly mean, really pissed at this. Okay.
What, Americans saying they're Irish?
No, but the Biden's comment about I might be Irish, but I'm not stupid. Before you sit there and take the piss, which I absolutely support you sitting there and taking the piss, mate. But he's actually pissed off both Sinn Féin and DUP with this.
Oh, yeah.
So they're actually kind of agreeing with each other, and
Well,
I don't think I
also,
can actually think of a time that's ever happened.
yeah, and another thing that they agree on is they hate Bono because he's a dick.
All right.
Really,
Right
the only other
here
time I can think I
is
agree.
the Biden family tree, right? And it goes down Biden, and then it runs into somebody married Catherine Eugene Finnegan.
Jeez.
Okay,
Wow. Oh,
so that's where he gets his supposed Irish from, I guess. Is from Finnegan, because
yeah.
all the way through this, there's no, you know,
Yeah.
there's nothing even close. Maybe I'm just missing.
So he's got like 8% of Irish in him. The rest is fucking English.
All right. You know. Well,
So Elizabeth
we're
Warren,
assuming
let's
that
be honest.
let's assuming that Finnegan is actually Irish, all right? Or this woman that I don't have any idea who she is, whether or not she came from Ireland, or whether or not she was actually.
Hold on, put that family tree back on. I just want to have a proper look at his maternal, what do you call it?
Maternal is be his mother, right?
Yeah, put that family tree back up. I just want to have another look at it.
There it is.
Right. Buick, Scanion, Blewett, Stanton. Oh, there's a Finnegan. Finnegan's. Yeah, I'm calling bollocks on this.
Well, you can chat if you want to call him. You literally can.
All right. I don't really care. All right, whether or not he's Irish or not, to be honest. But the reality is Biden is stupid. Right. The big lie he said there was he's stupid, and he is stupid. Let's be perfectly frank.
Yeah.
All right. He's a racist. He's a bigot, and he's stupid. What are your SSM? A potato vampire? What the hell's an SSM?
I have Irish.
Straight Sith male,
Okay.
if we call him SSM.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Oh, you mean gay Jedi female?
I just call him Sith, so I mean it's a little easier.
I know.
I'd call him gay Jedi female.
I think SSM fits because SSM is also a good nickname for kids. Screaming shit machine.
Is
Tell me I'm
a
wrong.
potato vampire an onion ring?
No, that's what the Lord of the Potatoes uses to rule them.
Just ask. All right.
Wow, Dracula potatoes. What a concept.
I have 3 more stories left, folks. 3 stories. Man pleads guilty to taking 2 bear cubs from Northern California den.
Mm-hmm.
A Siskiyou?
A what?
A Siskiyou County man pled guilty to stealing 2 2-week-old cubs from a Northern California den in 2019, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife said this week. Cody Setzer, 29, of whatever the hell that is, all right, took the cubs when they were estimated to be about 4 weeks old, the authorities said. The investigation began in March of 2019. Boy, they went moving on this one. Here's another case that they just got right on.
It's because of all these people who were suing people for not calling them ma'am.
Right, when Setzer contacted wildlife officers claiming that he had found the cubs along Highway 243 north of Eureka. All right, the wildlife officer became suspicious of Setzer's story when no bear tracks or habitat were found at the location where he claimed to have found them, the Department of Fish and Wildlife said in a release. The cubs were taken to the department's wildlife health laboratory in Rancho Cordova, where DNA testing revealed that they were probably born in the Sacramento River Canyon, right in North Shasta County, nearly 100 miles south of where Setzer said he found them. You have the ability to do DNA trace bears.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, you know where your tax dollars
are
are going for the wildlife group because they're busy freaking DNA tracing bears and every other wildlife they find.
You know, these bears are probably into genealogy.
The bears were into genealogy.
You do realise something. They just need the truth, the bare facts.
Yeah, during the investigation, wildlife officers determined that Setzer and a co-worker at a local timber management company took the cubs from the den inside of a tree that had fallen across a access road at the work site, the department said. The co-workers took officers to the site where they collected evidence from the den that had been destroyed by the co-workers and Setzer. Wildlife officials said, of course it was. It was a tree that was laying across an access road. Of course they destroyed it. Because they were moving and cutting down the tree.
Yeah.
The cub's mother was never found. Because after the den was found and the mothers couldn't find the babies, it probably left.
They probably shot the mother.
No.
They probably shot the mother to get the cub. That's what usually happens. Because bear cubs follow their mother around.
Yeah, but not in...
Yeah, when they're not young, yeah.
When they're that young, they're in the den, and the mother will go out and forage.
Yeah, but the bear's mother is usually within earshot.
That might be true, but she might have been scared. Who knows? I mean...
She probably got shot.
Who knows what happened to the mother, right?
Yeah.
But they think that was not charged with the incident planned to... Or it's unclear what Setzer and his co-worker, who was not planned... or who's not charged with the incident, planned to do with the cubs. But Captain Patrick Foy of the State Wildlife Agency's Law Enforcement Division, said that their behavior was consistent with incidents in which people take wild animals such as deer fawn as a pet. After a few days, the people realize it's more than they can handle. No shit. Right?
Oh, are you trying to suggest that bears might be more than people can handle? It's not like they get really, really big and dangerous with big ass claws. Oh, that's right, bears.
Everyone. I mean, you had that show, Grizzly Adams, right? Where everyone had the big bear that was part of that. And everyone thought the bears are friendly, and they came up with this mentality that bears are nice critters, right? It's a bear, okay? It's going to get bigger than you, all right? It's going to get a lot larger than you, and then it's going to want to go out on its own.
Program. That's one of the things actually shown in that program. That bear was friendly, but every other bear he encountered wasn't.
Even that bear wasn't friendly with everything.
No. There was this Scottish wrestler had this bear he'd raised for a cub, and he says, it's friendly with me. It trusts me. It's like a pet with me, but I've got to be careful with it because it's still a bear and it's still a wild animal. And if I do something that pisses it off, I'll be lucky to get out alive.
Yeah.
And he wrestled with this fucking bear.
He faces $2,290 in fines, 200 hours of community service, and 12 months probation with his hunting and fishing privileges suspended after his guilty plea in the bear case and another unrelated case, which makes me kind of wonder what the unrelated case was. An additional 90-day county jail sentence will be stayed upon completion of probation. This guy almost got the same thing that Juicy got. Okay, the next we're gonna do
I'm just waiting for them to find small dead apparently hanged himself, and they'll find a note in his pocket that says "I told you so." Got the bollocks, you fucking lunatic. I love you.
Yeah, well, it's not going to help his face. He got shit out all over the place. You know what it was? Is that owl took one look at that man bun in his back, in the back of his head, and said, "Oh no, this is the target. This guy speaking
There's only-
here,
Oh,
the
yeah.
policeman over there. No, this guy, man bun
The
gets
only
it.
time-
Man bun
The only
gets
time,
it.
the only time a man should wear a bun is when he's a genie.
All right, the owl had all sorts of targets, which what are you gonna do with your hand? Yeah, there you go. The police officer comes over and gives him a.
Yes, Susan. It is supposed to be good. It is good luck. It's good luck for the person who does your dry cleaning.
In all fairness, it's good luck for one thing. Good luck you wasn't looking up at that exact moment.
Well,
With your mouth open.
Oh.
that would have been bad. Now, I do have a question. All right, owls. Are there owls on every continent except for probably
Yes.
Antarctica?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think you get owls in Australia.
That's where this was.
Don't know. Huh?
That's where this was. This
No.
was Australia.
Then you do get owls in Australia. Yeah. So
that-
there are owls on the continent.
Are there owls on Africa? In Africa?
I think
There
so.
are owls in Africa. Yes.
That's interesting. I mean, I didn't realize we have a lot of owls here in the
Well,
United States. A lot of
Not
different
really. I
owl
mean,
species.
think about it. They're birds, right? And there's one thing birds can do
They
that
can't
other animals can't do.
Make baby birds. Yeah.
Two things birds can do that other animals can't do.
Jenson scores. No,
That's fly.
yes, yeah. But owls aren't known for long distance flying.
Sorry,
I
but
don't-
you're
I
gonna,
don't know.
I'm going to have to do this to you, dude.
Actually, they are.
Penguins, emus, kiwis, all birds, technically.
Yeah.
The only way they fly is if you catapult the bastards.
Penguins used to be able to fly at one time.
Penguins
So
fly
did
in
bears, but again, we catapulted them. Go on.
No, penguins used to be able to fly at one time, but evolution took that away from them. Emus, yeah, obviously never could fly. Yeah, they're descendants of the giant terror birds.
Yep.
So, apparently, so yeah, apparently anyway. So by that extent, so ostriches.
Yes.
But owls don't. No, they don't actually. They do, but it's hard pellets.
Owls don't poop. Apparently that one did.
No, he's right. They shit out, little hard pellets.
Not that one.
I think they vomit.
They do vomit as
I've
well.
heard that. Mm-hmm.
They will hack up their
Yeah.
the bones of
Yes.
stuff that they devoured.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was probably a fucking seagull. I mean, it's Australia, so obviously a city, so that's by the coast.
It's possible. Rats with wings are what seagulls are. So are pigeons.
No,
Different style rat.
that's pigeons.
No, pigeons are brown rats. Right?
Yes.
Seagulls are the Norwegian rats.
Mhm.
We'll go with that. All right, final story of the day. Kansas woman wins traditional pancake race against England. Is this a surprise? All right, it's Americans.
Oh, England don't move much.
No,
It just sits there. It's an island, for God's sakes.
all right, a woman from liberal Kansas is this year's champion of the traditional Pancake Day race against women in Olney.
Kansas.
Is that how you say it?
What?
Olney.
Probably. I don't care. But it's a fucking race in some fucking village somewhere.
All right.
How sad are you, Americans, that you've got to fucking go on about? I mean, who fucking cares? Seriously.
All right. Whitney Hay, all right, won the American leg of the race in the Liberal town on Tuesday with a time of 1:07. The KSNW TV reported that beat Katie Godoffs of Olney, all right, England, who ran her race at 1:10. All right, the race returned after a hiatus in 2021 because of the coronavirus pandemic. hey, a 21-year-old college student also won the liberal women's race in 2020, but lost only that year. Contestants must carry a pancake in a frying pan, flip it at the beginning and the end of the 415-yard race. The event began. That's a pretty good time for carrying a skillet. All right.
Yeah.
300 meters, 380 meters.
And then,
one
remember,
minute
like
in a
flipping
minute.
it.
In a minute,
It's not.
this
It's
woman
not
was
just
running.
the running, dude. They've got to flip it up and successfully flip it. That's actually the hardest part of it.
You carry
Like I
the
said,
pan with you. You got to carry that pan all the way around, right?
you're not just carrying it; you're flipping the pancake as well.
Well, you flip it at the
Success.
beginning and as you run, and then
No,
then
you've got
at
to
the
flip
end.
it as you run.
Oh, well, that might be.
You've got to flip it all the way down the course. Again, like I said, yes.
Apparently,
This
this
is
is a
one
thing.
news.
Apparently, this is a thing between these two cities because I've never heard of this before. But I'm not surprised. I mean, it's food. Of course, the American won.
I'm actually surprised. It's the race. How the fuck did the American win? You're all obese.
That's
that,
harsh.
That might be true, but it's a pancake race. I think everyone's obese.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll
be honest with you. The person who ran this race is not obese. Not if she's sitting up there doing this in a minute and 7 seconds.
That's fair, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but she was downhill and she had roller skates.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the course what the course layout is like.
Tess Holiday tried to do that race, but she kept having to start all over again because every time she flipped the pancake, it landed in her mouth.
Yeah, she accidentally ate it. Yeah, I'm okay with that statement.
It's amazing. Didn't she just come back and admit that she has anorexia nervosa?
That was last year.
Yeah, but no, hold it. Let's be honest, okay? If you look like that and you look in a mirror, you definitely see a fat bitch. So she definitely had anorexia. The fact that she saw herself was just part of it.
What she actually said was she had an anorexic, which meant to say that she ate one.
That'll explain a few things.
Excuse me, I've got talking about furry rats. I've got one whining for his food.
You go feed.
I'll be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I shall return.
I don't care about Tess Holiday in and of itself, except for the fact that she tried to pretend that she was an activist, right?
Yeah.
And that became, to me, now you're a target. Okay?
Yep.
That's just the way it is. If you're going to come out as a leftist activist, right, I'm going to dish you in whatever manner I possibly can. Now, most of the time I'll talk about the kind of stupidity that you talk about. For example, I'm not talking about her weight, except for the fact that she claims that she has anorexia nervosa, which means you are starving yourself to death. All right? Now, I kind of take this a bit seriously. I have a niece who's struggling with that right now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that's going to continue through the rest of her life. All right, a battle she's going to have the rest of her life. And you have someone like Tess. Now, I will say this: Tess Holiday has a eating disorder. I think we all recognize that. Okay.
Oh yes.
And unfortunately, the internet encourages that kind of stupidity, right? Because whatever stupidity that gets you clicks is what people will go with. And let's be honest, it'll go in where her popularity will wax and wane, depending upon how society rolls through the various different, what do you call them, victim groups, right?
Yep.
Eventually, she'll come back it'll come back around where she'll be the big victim again, right?
Yep.
And she'll be making all sorts of freaking money off of people coming in and listening to her, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'll be honest with you. A pancake race, though, back to the story. A pancake race where a woman is doing 380 meters, right? I don't know if people have run a 440 before. That's what we which is a quarter mile in the United States, a 440.
Yeah.
If you do a
440,
if you do a 440 in a minute, you are frickin' running. Okay?
Yeah.
Now there are people that can do it sub, but those are really good athletes. that'll do a 440 in under a minute. But doing a 440 in a minute is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, and to have to be carrying a frying pan with the pancake while you're doing this, how society will roll. All right, Bollocks, you got me. You got me, man. Although the name is Nomad.
Comment. Yeah. Yes. Now, something I do want to say to all of you. Nomad's channel is written in the description. Please sub to it. It's
Otherwise, he'll come round your house and shout at you.
Let's be fair, he'll probably shout at you from where he is, but you'll just hear it even closer.
I started that with it earlier today. With my earlier rant.
No, it's true, he did. Seriously, people, it's in the description. Make use of it and make sure that you sub to it, okay?
Okay, that's everything that I got.
Batman, you got anything you want to say, mate?
Yeah. Make France English again.
I am totally okay with this statement. And thank you very much for coming out and listening to us drivel. And sorry about the beginning. I have no bloody idea what happened there. But goodbye, everybody.